Hajime no Ippo follows Ippo. Ippo is a character that made you want to be better, and you can imagine yourself in his shoes while also wanting to fill those shoes. Watch Ippo and you will come out wanting to be Ippo. There are thousands of other pieces of media that strive to grant this emotion, and Ippo gives it to you. Ippo has injecting soul into its story down to a science. And the reason it's down to a science is because it utilizes a principle of art, that being unity. Just the uniting of every factor, every other application of art, but plus voice acting and basically the things that make up the entire product to make one cohesive product. From the lighting, to the shadows, to the art style, to the voice acting, to the music, to the conflicts, to the friends, to friendly interactions. These are what makes Ippos so good. And that's what we're going to be going over in this video. So, subscribe if you haven't. I have 553 right now, but you can make it 554 if you press that button. We're almost to 400, and yeah. Also, there's a Discord link in the description. Don't forget to subscribe and enjoy the video. So, let's get the most outstanding factor in check right now. It's the music. It's always been the music. That theme song. That is one of the best anime openings I've ever seen, I've ever heard. It only comes second to Evangelion's, as far as I'm sure. I instantly loved it. Even though there's two other openings, this first one encapsulates the beginning of Ippo's journey, when he's first getting into boxing and he has that youthful spirit and that promising talent in him, and establishes his will to carry on as a character. And it fits the tone so well. And over time, the music does become Ippo. If you really want to take a listen to them, I recommend these tracks. Some of the more iconic songs being Sense of Tense, Stand Proud, and Black of Blue, and much more. All these songs are so good, and they're so well placed. You'll be watching Ippo deck it out, thug it out in a fight against Sendo, and then the second opening starts playing. And he's 8 rounds in, and it's like, it's now or never. It's a go or go. Simply a feeling you could have felt if you were just there. The second opening becoming a great transition from the first one to this third one, being much more, rather relentlessly gruesome than the first, showing Ippo getting punched repeatedly in the face. And this is like showcasing his back, and also the Makanouchi Fishing Company, the most used opening in the show. It's perfectly placed so many times, at inspirational moments, where Ippo really feels like he should put the pedal to the metal. There are two types of music. There's a type of music that wants to sound good, and then there's a type of music that wants to make you feel a certain way. And exceedingly great music is the type that makes you feel both. And this is one of those songs. If you want a sample of how great Ippo's Unity is, that you should watch that first opening. There are so many different framing choices there that it's just wholly terrific. And speaking of openings, that third one is pure feeling. It's that pure rawness of competitiveness. It's every character to their most jacked up state, everyone being around 25 at the point of the game, halfway through for a boxer. Him sweating into the Dempsey roll, it's perfect. If you haven't guessed at this point, Hajime no Ippo is about a young boxer named Ippo. Now, enough about the music, let's get to the characters. He got bullied a lot in school, and so he took up boxing. And no matter how fierce of a boxer he becomes, his personality stays the same, very polite. It's almost unbelievable to somehow he can go from 0 to 100 so quickly once he's in the ring. But the characters are some of the best, they are maybe the best part of the entire show. I mean, they are the show itself. All of these characters wanting to improve their boxing game. There's of course Ippo, then there's Aoki and Kimura, and all three of them have to succumb to the torment of Takamura, the heavyweight who does very well for himself in fights, despite his brash nature and fighting style and personality. To top it off, he ends up being the one to pick on the three. He's also low-key the best character. There's also Miyata, who wants to prove that his father's style of boxing is still a valid form of boxing, as his father got injured in a match long ago and hasn't been able to box since. Miyata seeks to redeem this, and him and Ippo have a long-standing rivalry, but oddly, never getting the chance to settle it for a very long time while they both grow even stronger. Despite everyone he fights, Miyata is Ippo's only true opposite, and they all train at the Kamigawa gym, owned by Kamigawa himself. With Ippo being the heart of the series, he ends up fighting against multiple opponents, notable ones being Mashiba, which Ippo has a crush on his sister, which becomes a big problem for Ippo, as Mashiba is the fighter that scares him the most, and the fact that he has to deal with him outside of the ring is even worse. There's Alexander Volg, my personal favorite, from Russia, who's fighting for his mother, and, in my opinion, this was one of the fights that hit home the most. Eiji Dante, the leading featherweight Japan champion. And there are much more deterministic characters like Sendo, there only will be more opponents to go up against in the future. And the show's ability to focus on one opponent at a time, and the training needed for that, is perfect. You could memorize the events of the show just from knowing who he's fighting at a time. The list goes on and on. But what this show is really about is that writing. Hajime no Ippo has so many good jokes, and so many just blatant dick jokes. I'd say that George Morikawa, the mangaka of Hajime no Ippo, has a very good talent for writing dick jokes. He's very good at them. Like the ongoing joke that Ippo is packing, or that Takamura has a ridiculously sized one, and they showed a censored silhouette of it, but it's just, the show really does just feel like a couple of people who are good friends messing around. It's the best. This is probably one of the greatest qualities of the show, of Hajime no Ippo. Those scenes of the Takamura gym, the Kamigawa gym members just goofing around, usually at training camp or in the gym, or watching someone's match, or before someone's match, and even those scenes where Ippo visits Kumi, Mashiba's sister, the series shines through for what we're really here for. It's the soul of the show. And of course, the pressure and determination, the pressure that Ippo faces, and all the boxers face, and the determination that they have to invoke, that they have to keep up, no matter how hard, no matter how much it hurts, whether it be physically like when Ippo broke his fist, or emotionally when Kimura saw his girlfriend with another man before a fight, demoralizing him. They still have to keep it up. And the reality of boxing is not hidden in this one. It's not just pure fighting. They show characters having to cut weight. One of the early scenes of the show Takamura having to cut weight, and that means not eating. He pretends he's all such a cool guy about it, but late at night, he struggles standing right in front of the fridge. It was that night that Ippo learned the real hardships of being a boxer and what he was about to become. And boy, did he become. The theme song did not lie. I want fighting, one of the few English words in the opening, I want feeling, is definitely what Ippo fights for. His mother too, of course. And even when faced with difficulty, the series still remembers who it is. I'd like to turn your attention toward Naruto. There's an opening during the 4th Great Ninja War arc that felt weird to me for some reason. It's a war, and yet it's so jolly and doesn't start being all gloomy and stuff, and I guess it makes sense. No matter what is thrown at it, the series still remembers its heart, still remembers its soul. Naruto still remembers what Naruto is, and so does Ippo. And another thing about Soul is that all the characters usually have something in common, a common goal, or a goal that unites them. So in Ippo, that would be becoming a better boxer, becoming maybe even the greatest boxer in your division, or your country. Another example being Adventure Time. Everyone seems to be exploring something. Finn and Jake obviously adventuring things, everything, and in Princess Bubblegum, a scientist. And you can usually catch the characters being out and about doing something, like Tree Trunks is always... but you get the point. So that's my video about Soul and media, and don't forget to subscribe. I have 353 at the time of this recording, but you can make it 354 if you hit that button. We're close to 400 subscribers, and by that time, and we'll only need 100 more for my channel to be eligible for channel members to start being a thing here. Subscribe to help me make it all the way there, so I can actually start getting paid for this. And that's all. Subscribe. Thanks for watching.